Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Kay. I hope that you guys are having a great week, and this week we're gonna be talking about my booked and busy series. I have another video for you guys, and this is actually part 2 of the video that I did last week, which is called tips for getting any hospital job. Now this week we're going to talk about different questions that you can ask an employer during your interview. So these are great questions that you can ask. So we're going to get into about 11 of these questions, okay? And we're going to make sure you get that job. Alright you guys, so when you do an interview, it's really vital for you to ask the interviewer questions. It's going to show them that, you know what, this person actually cares about the job. You want to make sure you do your research on the company and maybe even ask them something specific to that company. Okay, also, you want to make sure that you're changing the trajectory of the interview. So you don't want it to be just them asking you a whole bunch of questions and trying to intimidate you. You want to also shift that energy. You want to let them know that, you know what, I have some questions for you too, okay? So you want to make sure that you're asking them questions and challenging them also. I mean, you don't want to do this in a bad way that's going to make them feel uncomfortable. You don't want to be too abrasive, but you want to make sure that you're showing them that you're confident and you can ask them serious questions and you're looking for answers also. And I always tell you guys, a great tip that you can do is actually write the questions down. You can even type them up if you're feeling fancy. But you can, write the questions down and, bring out your notepad and you can ask them questions because it's showing that you're prepared. That's really like a show that you're putting on. You're showing them that, you know what, I'm prepared, I researched, and I want to ask you something. Someone who's a great manager is going to see this as something positive. Now, if they're intimidated, that's not a company that you want to work for. But as long as you're being respectful and you're not being too abrasive and thinking you know it all or coming off with that kind of energy, and you're just giving them positive energy, they're gonna really be receptive to that. So make sure that you are asking great questions, and we're gonna get into some of those questions that you can ask right now. Alright guys, so the first question that you can ask during your interview is, what does a great day look like here and what does a bad day look like? So you want to kind of get an idea of what a good and bad day is in this environment, for this company. Now, a good and bad day can mean different things depending on the setting that you're working in. In some settings, a bad day could be someone dying, and for others, a bad day could be that they don't have enough staff. So that's like a drastic that's a drastic change, right? So you want to make sure that you're asking them, what a great day is like and what a bad day is like for that company. Alright you guys, so number 2 is a question that I've mentioned in past interview videos, but listen, I have to mention it again, okay? Because once you ask them this question, they're just gonna light up and you just know you got that job. So people have told me in the past that they've asked this question and that was like a great question for them to ask. So you want to make sure you ask this one. So you want to ask, what are your team goals? Okay, so every facility that you work at in medicine, they're all, even if you don't work in medicine, everyone is working on a goal, and they want to know that the person that they're recruiting to work for their company wants to help them meet that goal. So when they hear that in the interview, oh my gosh, that's just gonna knock their socks off, okay? So you want to make sure you ask this question during the interview, and you can even like put on your little show, get your pen and start writing down your goals, because they're gonna look at you and be like, wow, she's really interested in helping us meet this goal. So definitely write it down and ask them that question. That's one of the questions that you definitely have to ask. Okay, so if you're interviewing at a hospital, you definitely want to ask this next question. What are your goals for decreasing readmission rates, and how can I contribute to that goal? Okay, so hospital readmissions occur when patients are treated and then they come back. Now you want to keep these rates down because it's showing that you're treating the patients properly. Okay, so if you have a patient that leaves today and they come back tomorrow, it's not gonna be a good look for the hospital, because it's gonna look like, okay, well, you didn't really treat the patient. Like, you know, what did you do? Like, why are they back so quickly, especially for the same issue? Okay, so you want to ask them, like, you know, what are their goals for decreasing that? And that's going to be something very out of the box. You're not going to expect that from you. And, you know, they're going to be quite impressed when they hear a question like this, especially if you're saying, how can I help contribute to helping you meet this goal? I mean, my gosh, like, I think they're just gonna give you the job on the spot if you ask something like this. Okay, so make sure that you're asking these questions that's like pertaining to their hospital and their goals, because, you know, you're showing that you're there to help. All right, so question number 4 is, what are your company values? So every company has certain values that they want every employee to uphold. And the fact that you're asking them about these different values is showing them that, you know what, this is someone who wants to follow through with that. It's very important that if you're an employee there, you are following through with their values. And also, you want to make sure that, you know, you're working for a company that actually has some kind of morals, you know. So it's good to hear about their values, because you want to also hold them to that standard. You don't want to work for any old company. You want to work for a company that, you know, has morals and standards, because then you know that, okay, I will be respected as an employee working here. So it's definitely important to ask about their values. Okay, so number 5 is, what is the biggest obstacle that this company faces? Now, that's just like telling them also that you're interested. It's showing interest, because you're like, okay, what is the biggest problem here? And of course, if you're, you know, asking, that means that, you know, you want to be a part of the solution. So I think it's very important to ask about, you know, the obstacle that the company's facing. And the funny thing is, I did an interview a couple of months ago, and I asked this question, and the person was like kind of stumped when I asked them this question, but it was like a good stump. It was like, wow, like, I've never been asked this before. This is definitely a good question that you can ask your interviewer. Okay, number 6. So number 6 is, how do you show appreciation to your employees? Now, one thing that I've learned over the years that's very important to me is working for a company that appreciates me, because a lot of people quit jobs, you know, not always because it's hard, but because they don't feel appreciated. That's just something that is very important to me at this point in my life, because, you know, we go to work every day and we just give it our all, and, you know, we spend a good majority of our life at our job. So it's like, when I go to a job, I want to know that when I'm there, I'm appreciated. I mean, you don't have to kiss my butt or anything like that, but I mean, show me that you value me as an employee. So when I go on interviews now, I ask them, hey, like, how do you show appreciation to the people that work here? I don't want to work for a company that can't show appreciation to their employees. So that's very important, you know, because people, they don't really understand how valuable that is to workers, to employees. It's very important because when you just show them a little bit of appreciation, it makes them want to just do more. Like, it's called positive reinforcement. So, if you give them some positive reinforcement and you say, hey, great job, here's a gift card, or just do little things, like, people will go above and beyond. Okay, so that's very, very important to me in a job. Okay, so another really good question that you can ask is, do you have opportunities for growth or cross training? Now, it's very important that when you're working at a job, you know that, okay, like, I can always train in a different area, or I can move up in some way, especially if this is like your career. If it's just a regular job that you're using to get experience, or you just want to get some money, then maybe that's not as important. But if this is like your actual career or your dream job, you want to know that, okay, if I do well enough, then I can move up in the company and there will be other opportunities for growth. So this is definitely something to ask if, this is a career job for you. Okay, so number 8 is, how do you handle short staffing? And basically this is just, asking the employer, hey, like, if there's not enough staff, do you actually reach out to people? Am I going to be left stranded by myself? Like, what do you guys do when you don't have enough staff? And it just gives them a chance to explain their process and how it works. But you just want to know that you're working with a company that short staffing is not a problem, or if it is a problem, they're working on finding a solution. Because you don't want to just be working so hard and they're not trying to find a solution to that problem, because then you're doing a job that's for like 2 people. You're playing multiple roles, and that's really not fair. So you want to ask them these questions during your interview. All right, so number 9 is, what qualities do you like in an employee? And I feel like asking this question really just gives you an idea of the kind of people that are working there, and it also, lets you know what they expect. It's more of an expectation thing more than anything, because all their employees they're maybe not gonna be exactly like that, but they're kind of expecting you to be a certain way. So it kind of gives you an idea of their expectation of you as an employee. Okay, so number 10 is, what do you do to encourage teamwork? Okay, so teamwork definitely makes the dream work in medicine. Okay, if you are working with a bunch of slackers and people that don't want to do their jobs, it's really going to have a big effect on you, because in medicine we all need each other. Like, you need that next person to get the job done, because we all play different roles. So when you have someone that's very lazy and someone that don't want to work, no, it's going to be a bad day for you every day that you work with them. Like, you could come in and look at somebody and just know, okay, like, I'm just gonna have the worst day today. I'm gonna be doing everything all by myself. I won't have any help. So, like, really, you kind of know how your day is depending on who's working, okay? So you want to know that the employer is aware and they are, taking strides to really bring people together. Maybe some people will write people up if, they're not doing their job. Like, and I've actually heard of someone getting fired recently, not from where I work or worked, but someone else told me that at their job someone got fired because they're so lazy and they don't want to help their team. Like, it really has an effect on everyone. So you want to get rid of all those people. So you just want to make sure your employer is, working on team building, maybe doing exercises or talking to people, and having no tolerance for people that don't do their job. So that's definitely something that's important to ask. All right, so number 11, this is the last question that's on my list, and basically it's an issue that I feel like plagues many different organizations, not just in medicine, but I think just jobs in general, and that's accountability. And it's very important in medicine, because I mean, if people aren't looking at their mistakes and owning up to it, or and improving themselves, then the same things are going to keep happening and you're not going to have any kind of progress. So I think it's very important for companies to hold their employees accountable. And this is different from just bullying people and making people feel like intimidated. Accountability is just saying, okay, you made a mistake, how can we fix it? That's really what it's about. It's really that simple. And I think everyone should be held accountable. Like, I don't mind when someone holds me accountable. And I think a lot of times it's really how you do it. I feel like you could talk to anyone and you could tell them anything. It's really how you say it. Employers got to learn to hold everybody to the same standards. You can't hold some people accountable and then not hold others. And that's really what makes that organization better, is when people are held accountable and you tell them, hey, you messed up on this, but we can fix it. That's called coaching. So you definitely want to work with a company that does a lot of that, and not in a malicious way, just making sure that they're stepping up to the plate and working on that team goal and making that dream team work out. Okay, so definitely ask that question and see how they answer it. Alright, you guys, so that's it for my questions that I would ask during an interview to get any hospital job. Don't be afraid to ask these questions. And sometimes, we don't want to challenge those people that are giving us the job, but you want to make sure that you do challenge them a little bit, but in a respectful manner. Okay, you don't want to overstep the boundaries. You don't want to come off a certain way where they're like, okay, let me just throw this person's application in the garbage as soon as they leave. You want to do it in a respectable manner, but you want to show them that you're interested, but you're also doing your research on their company, and you gotta let them know that you're the prize also. Yes, you're giving me the job, but I'm coming heavily equipped with my own experiences and my own knowledge, and I'm gonna be an asset to your company. So I'm really bringing something to the company, as well as you giving me something by giving me the job. So you got to let them know that, and don't be afraid to ask some really good questions. But that's it for this video. There will be more videos for this Booked and Busy series, because we will be booked and busy in 2020. Okay. All right, you guys, I'll see you next time. Bye.